Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeff White Fitness Solutions. Thanks for checking out this video today. And today, this fitness is everything: physical, mental, spiritual, and financial fitness. I don't know about you guys, but I've been trying to figure out what in the world is going on today. It seems like there's so much going on, and it seems like it's overwhelming, and it seems like it's all just random stuff. But I'm starting to think that everything we've been seeing is starting the transition to the fourth revolution. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, okay, this dude is going crazy, but I really want you to just think about what I'm saying here. And I'm going to break it down in a second. But the fourth revolution is what you see here: autonomous robots, simulation, system integration, industrial Internet of Things, cybersecurity, cloud, additive manufacturing, augmented reality, big data, and analytics. Now, you can see some of these things now. Like, for example, you have the virtual reality games, we have the metaverse, we see the different robots, doing things. We talk about driverless trucks in the future. There's a lot going on. And I believe everything we see, starting with the pandemic, the lockdowns, the jabs, all of this is interconnected. It's all interconnected. See, it's like pieces of a puzzle. And a lot of times we focus on one piece of that puzzle, but when you step back and look at the entire picture, they are transitioning us to the fourth revolution. And I'm going to talk about that. But before I do, I need to make a disclaimer. So let me say that I got this from a YouTube video, and the channel was called Inspired. I'm going to include the link in the description of this video, but this is for those who have problems with conspiracies, or they call people conspiracy theorists, and they don't even listen to what you have to say. I'm sorry, y'all, but there's too much going on that to be a coincidence. The last 2 years have been just strange. That's the only way to describe it. So you have to be open minded to listen to people on different things. Okay. So I want anyone who thinks, oh, this is a conspiracy and he's going crazy, I want you to just read this or listen to what, just listen. It says, the psychology of the conspiracy denier. The infant child places an innate trust in those it finds itself with, a trust which is, for the most part, essentially justified. The infant could not survive otherwise. What occurs when there is a childish need within us which has never evolved beyond its original survival function of trusting those in our environment who are simply the most powerful, the most present and active? Trust is placing the biggest, loudest, most present and undeniable force around, because instinct decrees that survival depends on it. In my view, this is how conspiracy deniers are able to cling to and aggressively defend the utter illogical fantasy that somehow, when bad things happen, the governmental equivalent of mommy and daddy are diligently working out how to best ensure that their little precious citizen will be comfortable, happy, and safe forever. But wait, there's more. So it continues. Their sense of well being, of security, of comfort, even their sense of a future at all, are completely unconsciously invested in this fantasy. This is the core, comforting illusion at the root of the conspiracy denier's mindset, the decrepit foundation upon which they build a towering castle of justification from which to pompously jeer at, mock, and attack those who see otherwise. The conspiracy denier will attack anyone who threatens their infantile world of view, because cognitive dissonance is rattling in their unevolved brain. My proof for the truth of this assertion is that they won't even understand this argument, except to be insulted at being called unevolved and underdeveloped. And this is from Tim Foyle. So some people may say you're a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but I'm a realist. I'm a student of history, and I know for a fact that there have been some things either done or proposed in this country's past that may not be the most honorable things. For example, Operation Northwoods. Operation Northwoods was a proposed false flag operation against American citizens that originated within the U.S. Department of Defense of the U.S. government in 1962. The proposals called for CIA operatives to both stage and actually commit acts of terrorism against American military and civilian targets, blaming them on the Cuban government and using it to justify a war against Cuba. Then it goes on to say the proposals were rejected by President John F. Kennedy. So, if they can propose something like that, what could they do today that they're not telling us about? Then we have Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip was a secret United States intelligence program in which more than 1,600 Nazi German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from former Nazi Germany to the U.S. for government employment after the end of World War II in Europe between 1945 and 1959. Conducted by the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, it was largely carried out by special agents of the U.S. Army's Counterintelligence Corps. Many of these personnel were former members, and some were former leaders of the Nazi Party. So, after reading something like that, how can you have so much blind faith and trust in anyone? And this is all documented. So for me, it's like, don't just have blind faith. Do your research and take a step back, and you may find out some things that may surprise you. And you also want to keep your guard up and don't trust people because they can say one thing but do a totally different thing. Okay, guys, so we have to really look at the previous industrial revolutions and also keep in mind that we as a society, we're always moving forward and evolving. So the first industrial revolution had a lot of basic things. Manual work was replaced by industrial factories. The railroad was invented. The steamboat was created. So both of these were huge revolutions in transport. Roads and canals were built, and industrial production increased. That's the first industrial revolution. Then the second industrial revolution saw the expansion of railroads, larger factories, greater production. Then we saw labor unions, the coming of electricity, advances in transportation. We saw difficult conditions for industrial workers, which was the reason for the labor unions, and new forms of business organizations, and the development of steel and oil industries. So the world was changing, and that was the second industrial revolution. Okay, guys, so now we have the third industrial revolution, and we're in that right now. And that started right around 1970, 1969, 1970. And as you can see here, it says product automation, information and communications technology, internet, and digital. And this also saw the growth of microelectronics and service companies and globalization. And as you know, the world has become really globalized. So something that can impact us here in the United States can impact other countries, and other countries, whatever goes on there, can impact us here. And you can see that with things like the food supply. The United States gets a lot of food and other goods and products from other countries. That's part of globalization, and that was part of the third industrial revolution. So now we have made it to the fourth industrial revolution. And who do we see here? We see our buddy from the World Economic Forum, Charles Schwab. And he says ubiquitous, mobile supercomputing, intelligent robots, self driving cars, neurotechnological brain enhancements, genetic editing. The evidence of dramatic changes all around us and is happening at exponential speed. Remember, they said you will own nothing and be happy. So, and I had this in the previous slide here where we talk about Industry 4.0, autonomous robots, augmented reality, cloud, cybersecurity, simulation. All of these are part of the fourth industrial revolution. Now, we are in the middle of a huge change, and a lot of people don't even realize it, but this is what's going on, and it looks like it is being spearheaded by the World Economic Forum. So, what else can we expect in the fourth industrial revolution? Well, how many people know that green energy, renewable energy, is going to play a key role in the fourth industrial revolution? So that basically means we will decrease our reliance on fossil fuels. Is this a reason why we are seeing so many European countries cutting back on fossil fuels right now? Is this why the United States has cut its production of oil? This is part of the fourth industrial revolution, and they are forcing it on us whether we like it or not. Then the next one that I see here is Klaus Schwab says the Great Reset will lead to a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological identity. Implantable microchips that can read your thoughts. This is where we're headed. It's not really talked about, but we need to really pay attention to what's coming as far as the fourth industrial revolution and how it impacts us. Now, another thing we have to look out for in the fourth industrial revolution is central bank digital currencies. Now, this isn't talked about much, but in my opinion, now mind you, this is my opinion, they are purposely letting the economy blow itself up so they can in turn institute a new central bank digital currency when the time is right. What will happen is there'll be so much chaos and confusion in the world that these banks and governments will say we have a solution, and it is the central bank digital currency. See, what's going on is they have to usher in the new industrial age, and they are doing it very gradually without people really paying attention because we're so distracted with other things going on. But all of this is happening right in front of our face, and we must be prepared right now for this. Okay, this is going to be the last thing I really show you. But as you can see in the fourth industrial revolution, they're also talking about the food we eat. And here is an excerpt. And it says here in January, a World Economic Forum report developed in collaboration with McKinsey and Company identified 12 emerging technology buckets that have the potential to do good across several dimensions of the food system. They could change the shape of the demand for food through alternative proteins and personalized nutrition. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Alternative proteins is bugs, people. Bugs. And they also have said they want us to start eating less meat. Now, if you have been paying attention, you have been seeing how many farmers have been incentivized to stop growing their cattle. In the United States, you have seen so many fires at the food processing centers. I believe, and I said this before, this is all my opinion, everything we see is part of the fourth industrial revolution to move us to a new way of life. Now, you can agree, you can disagree, but as I look at all of this and I see what they want for the fourth industrial revolution, our entire way of life is on the verge of changing. Okay, so I hope what I'm showing you here makes sense. I believe all of this is by design. The pandemic, the war, everything we see, the fires, um, the supply chain issues, the food supply shortages, the economy, just in chaos. This is all by design to usher in the fourth industrial revolution. This is a systematic collapse that's being done on purpose. So when there's a lot of chaos and confusion, what they will do is say, we have a new system and this can help solve all the problems. So to help ourselves, we must really be paying attention and do everything we can to decrease our reliance on the system. And that includes stocking up on food and supplies, planting a garden, getting out of debt. That is going to be key. I didn't talk about the banks in this video, but there's some things out there called bail-ins by the banks that could be devastating for a lot of people. So you want to make sure you hold some cash too. We can talk about that in another video. You also want to accumulate physical gold and silver, because if they have a central bank digital currency, then that means they can track your every purchase and they can limit what you can do with that money. This is all part of the fourth industrial revolution. And last but certainly not least, you want to pray. You want to pray. You got to pray. You want to plant that garden, and you want to prepare as much as you can for what's coming. Now, you may like what the fourth industrial revolution has to offer. Personally, I'm a little leery because I think that gives them too much control. And we don't want to give people too much control over our lives. That's just my personal opinion. So you want to do everything you can to take care of yourself. And one more thing, stop being distracted. There are so many stories and things going on in the world that are keeping us distracted from what they're doing. And this is all a systematic collapse of our society, and they're trying to rebuild a brand new society. So we must work together on this, people. This is serious, and I really hope people are paying attention, and we got to do everything we can to slow this down or stop it as much as we can. So let's talk about it, people. Tell me your thoughts, tell me your opinions. What do you think? Did I leave something out that you think is important? Does it make sense to you? So anyway, I'm done with the conspiracy theory talks. This is the reality that we're facing, and we must be ready for it.